So if Gamera vs. Gauss was the first step into distancing the Gamera movies from the Godzilla movies, then this and the next one are pretty much the pins in the definite cheesy era of Gamera movies. Gamera vs. Virus is the fourth movie, and the one where things really started to go into this is absolutely ridiculous territory. The movie follows two Boy Scouts. One is a Japanese inventor prankster, and the other is his American sidekick. So the entire Boy Scout troop is visiting a scientist's lab, and scientists and counselors decide to let the kids go in a submarine. While they're down under the sea, they spot Gamera and basically have a fun time with him underwater, swim around, play games, and all is going well until some aliens come from another planet and kidnap the kids in an attempt to have Gamera do their bidding to take over the Earth. Now, there are a couple ways you can look at this movie. You can look at it as a really lazy, poorly made movie that is just absolutely bullshit, or you could look at it as an innocent kids movie, very lighthearted and enjoyable in that what the fuck am I watching kind of way. Because as I mentioned before, this is the key example of what people think of when they think of the cheesy Gamera movies. A lot of the stuff that happens in this movie is something that is perfectly made for Mystery Science Theater 3000. I mean, you got aliens from outer space, you got kids as the main characters, you have a giant flying fire-breathing turtle, and you have a really obscure-looking monster. Virus is a monster that it's like some sort of space squid. I mean, when I showed the look of Virus to one of my friends, he's like, that thing is legitimately frightening. Its deadpan eyes, its beak, just the way this thing looks is actually really inventive. And outside the way Virus looks, there are some other absurd moments. For example, there's a scene when the aliens capture Gamera, and the kid inside this giant orange dome under the sea, and the kids are stuck under there. Gamera can't get out of the dome, but the kids yell, "Gamera, can you let us out or else we're going to suffocate?" So what happens is Gamera lifts the bottom of the dome, lifts it up as if it's a curtain, and the kids in the submarine just go outside to get surface, and then Gamera drops the dome and is still stuck in there. It's just so many absurd things like that that makes this movie definitely enjoyable in that gather your friends and grab a six-pack kind of way. But there is one moment that can be looked as absurd, but I also look at it as, come on, Daya, you can do better than that. There's a scene during the moment when Gamera is trapped in the dome, the aliens decide to read his mind and look into Gamera's past and try to figure out stuff about him. And the flashback is pretty much stock footage. A 10-minute montage of stock footage that basically shows the fights between Barugon and Gauss in the last two movies. With no voiceover, we're just watching the raw footage of those two fights from those last two movies. It's like, man, this is lazy, but they go one step further. There's another point in the movie where the aliens control Gamera with a mind control device in the back of his head and send him to destroy Tokyo. Now, the first Gamera movie was filmed in black and white. This one's in color. For the destruction scenes, they use the footage from the first movie, which was filmed in black and white, but they just tint the footage purple. So it's like, okay, this is absolutely absurd. Like, they don't even try, but given how cheesy the rest of the movie is, I can't really complain. And outside of being really cheesy, this is actually a very important film to the series. For one, it's the first one where the main characters are the kids. This would be a trend that would happen throughout all these old Gamera movies until 1980. And this movie also introduced the famous Gamera theme song that would be a key staple in this first era of Gamera movies. That Gamera, Gamera, do 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 do. It's just very cheesy stuff. I know what some people are thinking. Some people who have watched me for a while, whether it's on my last channel or here, when I talked about the Godzilla movies from the 70s, you're thinking, wait a minute, you were very harsh on those Godzilla movies. Why are you giving Gamera vs. Virus a free pass? Well, let me explain why. The Godzilla series had its own distinction. It was the first of its kind. It established its own tone that may have gotten into a little more lighthearted, but still felt like Godzilla. Gamera started off as a Godzilla wannabe, at least for the first two movies, and it needed its own tone. It needed to feel different from the Godzilla series. And with Gamera vs. Gauss, and especially this movie, Gamera vs. Virus, they have found their tone and will stick with it until 1980. And over the years, I've gotten a little less critical on the Godzilla movies from the 70s, if I just look at it in a very lighthearted way, which is the same way I look at this Gamera movie and the next four that would follow. So that's why at first I was harsh on those Godzilla movies, but not this one. So that being said, this movie is not particularly well made. The stock footage will irritate you. There are some special effects shots which are not very convincing. And this is totally a movie for hardcore kaiju fans or anyone who just wants to watch a movie and laugh at it, Riff Track style. So I'm going to say this movie is something you watch at your own risk. If you want something a little more serious, a little more well-made, this is not the one for you. If you just want to have a good time with friends, or just want something lighthearted in general, then Gamera vs. Virus, and especially the next movie, were definitely made for you. And that's my review for Gamera vs. Virus. Leave a comment, tell me what you thought of the movie, like, subscribe, go check out my video blog channel, AlexG8462. You can follow me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. This is the real Mr. Robinson telling you there is only one.